4th and goal to go to 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Here's my dog's home. I think he's right next to you. Anyway, if you want to help support my channel, that description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in that description box. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 10,700 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous. There he is. Simply marvelous, my dad. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, one thing we could probably, I don't want to be Nancy negativity, but at least over the past few weeks, one thing we have been unsatisfied with has been the play of the New York Football Giants. And tomorrow they have a chance to right the ship, or as they've done the past couple weeks, just continue to steer the Titanic into that iceberg and just splatter the Titanic into a million pieces and just watch it go down into the bottom of the abyss, and nobody comes out alive. What's it gonna be, huh? It almost gets to be. It's like, how are we gonna this game up? What are we gonna do tomorrow? Could be a pretty, could be one of those weather games, kind of like, been seeing all kinds of different types of forecasts. I mean, possibly rain, possibly some snow, possibly some wind gusts, possibly wind. So, where are we at here? Is this in here? It could have some weather-related games. Now, and also that includes the Eagles and the Packers too. But I think that's a nighttime game. But let me read this over here real fast. So this could be quite interesting. NFL Week 10 weather. Giants versus the Bears and Eagles versus Packers among games to watch for snow and rain. Oh, I just love a good. Snow. I love snow. Nothing like football in the snow, man. Absolutely. To me, snow and mud, but they're not allowed to have mud. You can't, because the fields are sodded and they can't have dirt. They're not allowed to have dirt. I think it's a new rule in the NFL. If you actually have dirt on your field, you lose your next 10 first-round draft picks. And now it's the PFL, the Pretty Football League. That's what it's called. Everything's got to be just looking absolutely perfect. Can't have any dirt or anything like that on the field. Heaven forbid. Don't want at the end of the game the guys walk off the field and there's some dirt and stuff on them. Don't want that. Don't want any. Anyway, don't get me going. But here's how the weather could impact some NFL games in Week 10. So, we got the Browns and the Jets. Okay, you got the Giants and the Bears. Let it snow. Ooh. Oh, all right, buddy. My good boy's laying down next to me. Chicago's expected to get some snow during the day Sunday and overnight into Monday. So the system is definitely going to be present in the area. How much snow actually sticks to the ground and field is another story, as temperatures will be in the low 40s by kickoff. The Bears should be able to move the ball fairly well against the Giants defense, but significant snow could hinder the passing game more than expected. So that we're gonna have to keep an eye on. Let me just go here real fast here. Let's see here. Let me just type in the Weather Channel. Okay, then we're gonna go Weather Channel. Let's see. Okay, let me just type in Chicago. Chicago, Illinois. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, right. As of right now, it's raining there. It's 40 degrees. What do we got here? What do we got? There's a system. Yeah, there's a system going through there. Yeah. All right, so now let's see. 2 a.m. Moderate to heavy. Yeah, it looks like it's a precipitation. Okay, let's see how far. Next 48 hours. Let's go to the next 48 hours. This is according to the Weather Channel here. Is it going to pop up? Okay, here we go. Okay, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Partly cloudy and windy. 36 degrees. So it just looks like now, well, I mean, as of right now, things can change in a hurry there, as you know. But it looks like might be some snow in the morning. It's about 34 degrees. So, any snow there, I mean, of course, I'm sure they'll get as much of it off as they possibly can because heaven forbid we actually get any snow on the field. Don't want any snow either. But so it looks like as of right now, the snow showers looks like as of right now, it's going to stop around 8 o'clock in the morning, according to the Weather Channel. They've been, a lot of times they're right, sometimes they're right on, sometimes they're off by a little bit. But it looks like by tomorrow afternoon, it looks like it'll be around 36 degrees. So if any type of precipitation comes by there, we could be looking at maybe some snow. But it is going to be partly cloudy and wind, and there will be some wind. The wind is in northwest at about 25 miles an hour. So it's going to be, doesn't look like, looks like any snow showers will either be before the game or after the game. Looks like there might be some snow showers at nighttime too, around 9 o'clock at night, not 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So looks like there's a possibility, obviously, no guarantee, but there's a small possibility there might be some precipitation going on during the day. That's according to the Weather Channel. Yeah, things can change in a heartbeat there. But one thing is sure, it'll be in the mid-30s, unlike what it was the past couple of weeks with the Giants playing the Eagles and the 49ers. So it's going to be a big temperature change, but it will be windy. So any balls thrown down the field are, going to be, going to have to, especially for the Giants. Well, I mean, both teams, but the Bears, they lead the league in turnover differential. That's one of the reasons why they're 5-3. Had the Giants led the league in turnover differential, I think they're like a plus 13, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to read some numbers here in a little bit, but I believe a plus 13, very impressive. I mean, at that rate, just right now, at that rate, there'd be like a plus 25 or so for the season, which would be phenomenal, which once again would be one of the reasons why, they would, if they're going to the playoffs or if they got a winning record, that would be that. Right. One thing the Giants and JAXSON DART have done very well, though, and they played the 49ers, they played the Eagles twice, they played the Chargers. They played some tough teams. Right, with JAXSON DART there. One thing, they had obviously, of course, and it just goes to show you the way the parity is, the way the NFL is. The Giants had especially JAXSON DART, by far, their absolute worst turnover game by far the whole season, and especially with JAXSON DART as the quarterback. Worst turnover game against the crappiest team in football, the Saints, and that's why we lost that game, plain and simple. However, the other games that JAXSON DART has started, I think he's turned the ball over just one time. So he's done a very good job of protecting the football. That's something the Giants are going to need to do tomorrow because that's something the Bears take advantage of. They had like it was almost like a freaking Madden game last week between them, the Bears, and the Bengals. I don't think the defenses run the field last week, to be truthful. The Bears out. I think the Chicago Bulls beat the Cincinnati, I don't know, Royals. Whatever the basketball team would be. I don't even know. It was like 49-42 or something, whatever, 48-42 or 48-43, something like it. It was. Whew. The Bears can move the ball. Last week, they had 4 players throw passes last week. I think 3 of them, 3 different players completed a pass. It might have been more completed a pass to Williams in the end zone. So the wide receiver completed a pass to Williams, the quarterback, for a touchdown. So they had 4 different players throw passes. Now, that's something I have to be a little careful of once again, because if you can start sailing that ball down the field 30 yards or so, whatever, if it gets caught in the wind, it's fair game, obviously. So, but the Giants are going to have to do a very good job of protecting the ball. Once again, it's like if the Bears score points, make them march down the field. I mean, it's not too hard to do. I mean, the Eagles did it. What was it? 8 out of 9. I think 9 times they had the ball. They only forced them to punt one time. No, it was 7 out of 8 times. The last time was a kneel down. Was that right? Yeah. So the Eagles had the ball 8 times, and they punted 1 time. So, I mean, and the 49ers just walked up and down the field on our defense. So it's not very hard, but at least give them a long field. Right? Let the Scottish Hammer boom the ball down there and let them go down the field and score some points. Right? They score well, good for them. The Bears do like to run the ball. They're averaging about 150 so yards a game rushing the ball. Our defense is absolute trash at stopping the run. So, look for a heavy dosage of Chicago's runs. But I mean, the Bears do give up some yardage too. They give up some points. So once again, this could be a high-scoring game, high-scoring affair. I mean, unless I don't know, there's a bunch of turnovers, or unless the weather really gets sloppy or something like that. But if you're able to, each team can run the ball, or at least complete some passes. I'm not talking about anything deep or anything. There certainly could be some points scored on this game. So that any given Sunday, right? Anything can happen. The ball bounces the wrong way against the Bears, or if actually a call or two would go for the Giants' way instead of against the Giants, right? Anything can happen any given Sunday. So it just, a lot of times you start getting into these ruts the way we have been the past, however many, I mean, you go back pretty much to 2017, basically 2017 to 2025, we've had one season. Right? I mean, you're just used to losing. It's like, how are we going to lose this week? Right? Last week was just the defense is just absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. They given up. I mean, I know Banks has. I know Banks went to the bank and cashed his check. He's out. He's gone. He's cashed himself out for the season. He's just, unfortunately, we have to have him for another season, but it is what it is. That's going to bring me up to one of my points in a little bit here, but it should be a high scoring game. As I said, unless there's a lot of turnovers for some reason, unless the weather really gets nasty and it's just tough to move the ball, but. All right, so we got some numbers here. The Giants will travel to Chicago to face the Bears once again at 1 o'clock at Soldier Field. This will be the 56th regular season between the two teams. The Bears lead the series 31 victories, 22 wins for the Giants, and 2 ties. The last time they met was in Week 4, 2022 at MetLife Stadium when the Giants defeated the Bears 20-12. Giants' most recent trip to Soldier Field was in Week 17 of 2021. Now, don't forget, in 2022, we beat the Bears by 8. That was one of those many games in 2022 that the Giants won by 1 score. All right, so now for JAXSON DART. Passed for 191 yards had 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, and no interceptions, right? For a career high 107 rating last week. Became the first rookie in NFL history with a TD pass and a TD run in 4 straight games. And that's with basically no offense. That's no wide receivers. Imagine if we actually had a couple wide receivers to throw the ball to. Well, we do, but some of them just drop the ball a lot. So, right. He joined Cam Newton as the only rookie quarterback with rushing touchdowns in 4 straight games, and joined Newton and Justin Herbert in 2020 as the only rookie quarterbacks with 5+ games with both TD passes and a rushing touchdown. Has a 90+ rating in 5 of his first 6 career starts. Once again, just imagine if we had wide receivers for him to throw the ball to. Devin Singletary had a career-high 51 scrimmage yards, 43 rushing, 8 receiving last week. He had 125 scrimmage yards and a rushing touchdown in his only career game at Chicago, which was in 2022 when he played for Buffalo. Tyrone Tracy has 50+ scrimmage yards and 2 of his past 3 on the road. Wando Robinson led the team with 9 receptions last week. His 4th career game with 9+ catches, although he only had like 40-something yards. He averaged like 5 yards a reception. It's like, Wandell, you run around, do a 5-yard button hook, and I'll hit you. That was pretty much about the extent of it. But he did have 9 catches. Let's see. He has 5+ catches in 6 of his past 7 on the road, and is one of 3 NFC wide receivers, Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, with 18+ games with 5+ receptions since 2024. And look for him once again, especially if we're talking a short game, right? Because throwing those balls deep down the field could be a little treacherous, especially if that wind. It's either. I mean, if it's just strictly blowing in one direction, okay, if it's blowing from behind you, maybe you can take a little bit off of it. If it's blowing right at you, maybe you can throw right into the heart of it, maybe. But it depends. Is the wind blowing around like it used to do at Giant Stadium? Just blow. You don't know if it's blowing this way, if it's coming that way. At the top of the stadium, it's coming this way, but on the field, it's going that way. The wind can be really crazy. So Wandale might have another big game in store for him because their secondary is kind of beat up as well, too. So Wandale should have some chances to get open, especially if he's a short pattern kind of guy. That might be something that Dart will be targeting tomorrow, the short passing game. Wandale does a very good job of getting open. Their defense is not very good. They are very good at taking the ball away, though. So Darius Slayton had a season high in catches, 5, and receiving yards last week, 62. Should have had another reception for a touchdown, too, but anyway, Theo Johnson, speaking of dropping balls, had his 5th receiving touchdown of the season last week. Had a reception, a touchdown, and 2 of his past 3 on the road. Brian Burns is NFL leading 11 sack on the season last week. He's the first player since Daniel Hunter in 2018 with a sack in 8 of his team's first 9 games of the season. I mean, that's the one thing. A lot of times with sacks, it comes, sometimes in bunches, they say, like a team, whatever, at the end of the season, 50 sacks. Well, 17 games, that's 3 sacks a game. So you don't get three sacks, and then 3 sacks, and then 4 sacks, and then 3 sacks, and then 2 sacks. No, you get 2 sacks, and you don't get any sacks the next game. Then you get 5, then you get 6, then you get 1, then you get 1, then you get 3, then you get 5. It's like the stock market. It goes up and down. But Brian Burns is like a sack this week, a sack. Then he gets a sack. Then he gets a sack. Then he gets it's just steady, very steady. But Abdul Carter leads the Giants with pressures. and they think he's in the top 10 in the NFL as far as applying pressures as well. He's not getting sacks, but he's getting pressure. He has more pressures than Brian Hunter. Brian Hunter. So I was thinking about Daniel Hunter and Brian Burns. Abdul Carter has more pressures than Brian Burns does. He has nowhere near the sacks, but he actually has more pressures. Let's see. Bobby Okereke had 14 tackles and his first tackle for loss of the season last week. He ranks 5th in the NFL with 82 tackles. So he's on pace for over 150 tackles on the season. Abdul Carter had his first career fumble recovery last week. Sexy Dexy had his 38th career tackle for loss in week 9. He had 2 sacks in their last meeting. Dane Belton has a season-high 13 tackles last week and aims for his 5th in a row with 5+ tackles. Had his first career fumble recovery in the last meeting. All right, what do we got? So the Bears lead the NFL in takeaways with 19. And a turnover differential of plus 13 and ranks 2nd in rushing yards at 144.4 yards per game. But so they've taken away the ball 19. They've only given up 6. So they do a very good job of protecting the ball. But yeah, they take away 19. So they've taken away the ball over 2 times a game. A little over 2 times a game. Caleb Williams had 3 touchdown passes, 114.8 passer rating, and his first career receiving touchdown last week. Became the first player ever with 275 passing yards, 50 or more rushing yards, and a 20-plus receiving yards in a single game, and first player ever with 20-plus completions and 2 receptions in a season. So he had 2 receptions in the game. So a lot of times the Giants are going to have to keep an eye on him, right? Like they hand the ball off. Like he goes and hands the ball. You know, he gets the ball, turns around, hands it off. Right? The running back runs this way, you know, and so Caleb hands the ball off. The running back goes this way, and Caleb just continues out in the flat or whatever out this way. You just can't. Oh, okay, the ball's over there. Let's follow the ball. Okay, Caleb Williams coming right past me. Okay, all right. I'm going to let Caleb go. I'm going to go run after the ball. No, you can't do that. Right? Now, so that works both ways, obviously, especially for the Bears, because they put some stuff on tape. Because Caleb Williams, or whatever, starts going out, you know, running away from the play, right? The ball starts going this way. Caleb just starts circling. Well, they put stuff on tape for all the world to say, well, just because he goes out over there doesn't mean he's out of the play. No, they could turn around and throw the ball to him. Right? So whether they do it or not, that gives the Giants something to think about. If Caleb or whatever starts going out over this way or he goes out over that way, whatever, keep an eye on him. Follow him. Because he's a good athlete, but I mean, it doesn't mean he's not going to get a pass. But it works both ways. Because even if he's not going to get a pass, if he just starts heading out that way, right, one to one of the sides or whatever, he might draw a defender away from the play. Because you have to be conscious of Caleb going out whatever to the sides and maybe drawing the defender away. Let's see here. Swift had 60-plus scrimmage yards in each of his 7 games this season. Aims for his 3rd in a row at home with 75-plus scrimmage yards. Let's see. The one running back, Kyle Monange, had 198 scrimmage yards last week, 176 rushing, 22 receiving last week. Most rushing yards by Chicago rookies since Anthony Thomas in 2001, at 188. So, but once again, we're talking about the Bengals defense, which is just as much trash as the Giants defense is. So, Rome Odunze has a receiving touchdown in 2 of his 3 home games this season. DJ Moore, his first receiving touchdown season last week. Colston Loveland, rookie or tight end, is doing very good. Had 6 catches for 118 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns last week. Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker, had career high tying 4th interception of the season last week. He's a linebacker. Halfway through the season, he has 4 interceptions already. Another linebacker, TJ Edwards, has 3 pass defense in the past 3 games. Montez Sweat, the defensive lineman, has 4th sack of the season last week. Austin Booker had a sack and forced fumble in season debut last week. In his season debut last week. Kevin Byard aims for his 3rd in a row at home with an interception. C.J. Gardner-Johnson had his 5th career sack in Chicago in his debut. His 5th career sack in his Chicago debut last week. And Nashawn Wright, another defensive back, had his 4th interception of the season last week. And he has 5 passes defense in the past 4 games. So, they got some guys, obviously in the secondary who, obviously defend the pass, but also pick it off as well, too. But, they've given up, a lot. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, 2025 Chicago Bears. Yeah, right, let's see. What have they scored? So they're 5-3. Right, they've scored 26.9, so basically 27 points per game, which is 6th in the NFL. So they can put up some points. Their problem is they're giving up 28 points per game, which is 29th in the league. The problem is for the Giants. I think the Giants are just about as bad as the Bears are as far as giving up points. So both these defenses giving up points. And you also figure that the other thing, too, you can kind of look at it kind of both ways with the Bears. They've given up like 28 points or so a game, which is horrible. But if they weren't taking the ball, they didn't take the ball away 19 times. Quite possibly, they'd be giving up over 30 points a game. So the Giants can, knock on wood, can move the ball. Will they? Will they self-destruct? Will they have a bunch of down? Who knows? But Giants, possibility of moving the ball. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, then we got some things here, things to watch. We got to go over the injury report in just a second here. Can JAXSON DART continue his historic start? Last week's loss to the 49ers, JAXSON DART completed a season high 72.7% of his passes, totaling just 191 yards, though, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. The rookie quarterback also added 8 carries for 56 yards, an additional touchdown on his way to making history. Dart set a new franchise record with 5 games with at least 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown. He also became just the 3rd rookie in NFL history to have as many games with both a passing and rushing score. The strong performance came right after Dart was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Month. In 4 October games, Dart threw for 7 touchdowns, accounted for 10 total touchdowns, and had a passer rating of 90. All of which were the most among NFL rookies. He is now up to 15 total touchdowns with just 3 interceptions across his 6 starts. And once again, you look at some of these other, these other teams. Well, look what like last week, right? When you had Burrow, but he's throwing it to Higgins, and he's throwing to Jamar Chase, right? Dart's dropping back, and he's throwing it to Slayton, Bo Collins, Gunnar Olszewski, Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhertz, Thomas Fedoni. Those he's throwing the ball to. Imagine if he had 2 number 1 wide receivers out there running around. Once again, that stuff opens stuff up for everything. Because you can't just start, crowding, crowding the box and all that and everything. Right? It starts opening stuff up. Slowing down the run. Easier said than done. The defensive struggles to slow down the run game continued this past weekend against the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson both combined for 159 yards on the ground and a 4.8 average yards per carry, with both backs recording a rushing touchdown along with 3 runs of 10-plus yards. Now, the thing is, not that you ever want to give up those kind of numbers. I get it. But it's, once again, it's not okay. However, if the 49ers were averaging 5 yards a carry the whole season and all of that, it's like, well, they do run the ball well, and they ran the ball last week, so they did what they do well, so you just tip your cap to no. They were averaging like 3.4 yards a carry, 3.5 yards a carry going into the game. So then they averaged almost 5 yards a carry against. I mean, it's like, you got a team that can't run the ball, and then they come in and they just punch you in the mouth, and they average almost 5 yards a carry. That's really, really embarrassing. Giants have now surrendered an average of 192 rushing yards per game over the last 3 weeks, leading to the unit ranking 31st in total rushing yards and 32nd in rushing yards per attempt. Through 9 weeks, the Bears have been one of the most run-heavy teams in the NFL with 235 total rushing attempts. I like that. I can appreciate that. With it looking like the weather could play a factor in Chicago on Sunday, expect the Bears to lean heavily into their run game. After missing last week's game due to a groin injury, running back DeAndre Swift returned to practice this week and was a full participant on Thursday. So now they have 2 very good running backs. The veteran leads the Bears with 464 yards on 100 carries, 4.64 yards per carry. Very solid. I mean, fantastic season. And 4 touchdowns while adding 18 receptions for 192 yards and an additional score. With Swift sidelined last week, the rookie running back led the backfield with an impressive 26 rushing attempts for 176 yards, 6.8 yards per carry, and finished with 198 yards from scrimmage. Whew. Unbelievable. Players to watch. Theo Johnson. Since Dart took over as the starting quarterback, Johnson has a team-high 5 touchdowns. Meanwhile, his 26 receptions are the second most on the team. Now, let's not forget, that's about what he had last season, Theo Johnson. Now, just imagine if he would catch all the balls that he should be catching. He might have about 30 receptions right now. I think he had 29 receptions last year before he got injured. So he does seem to be, maybe getting a little better. But once again, having these receptions is nice and all. That's all cute. But when you get balls that you should catch them. Okay. But so he's on pace for, whatever. About 50 receptions on the season. Not bad. Right? He's not setting no NFL record, but that wouldn't be bad. For the offense that we have, a rookie quarterback, we have no big time weapons at all or anything. If he winds up with 50 receptions on the season, it's not bad. He had 29 last year, and so almost doubling it this year. The Bears have been unable to contain opposing tight ends recently, so look for him to have a good game. As tight ends from the Bengals, Ravens, and Saints combined for 15 receptions for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks. So, if Theo winds up with about 5 receptions or so, don't be surprised. Bellinger also has an opportunity to contribute Sunday after returning to practice as a full participant. So look for the tight ends to be nice contributors this week, especially in the short game. All right, we're going to watch matchup to watch. You got Burnsy versus their left tackle, Theo Benedict. Burns entered week 10 with 11 sacks on the season, with at least 1 sack in 8 of the 9 games and multiple sacks in 3 games. This week he will be matched up against Benedict. I hope I'm saying that right. Who has allowed just 1 sack but 15 total pressures since being inserted into the starting lineup in week 4. So he gives up some pressures. Now he gives up, you figure what? You figure week 4, he's played for maybe 5 games or so, somewhere around there. He's given up 15. So he gives up about 3 pressures a game. So Bennett allowed 5 pressures against the Bengals last week and was called for 2 penalties. So This might be something that the Giants can take advantage of. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams has an average time to throw of over 3 seconds, 3.24 seconds this season, which is the longest average by a qualified quarterback in a season over the past decade. So when he gets back there, he holds on to the ball. He gets time to throw, and he holds on to the ball. So, watch Roma Dunze. Dunze started the season off hot with 5 touchdowns in Chicago's first 4 games, while the second-year wideout did not catch a single pass against the Bengals last week. And that's hard to believe. I even caught a touchdown pass against the Bengals last week. So that's hard to believe. But he did register a 7-catch, 114-yard performance just the week before. Dunze leads the Bears in targets, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns as he serves as the focal point of the passing game. Caleb Williams will likely look to get the young receiver involved early after last week's goose egg. So, with the Giants secondaries banged up as it is, the Bears could have a field day. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so the Bears lead the NFL with 19 takeaways, including a league-high 13 interceptions. 13. Giants, I think, have like half that interceptions. So they have turned those extra possessions into 46 points. So they're turning. So you figure they've only played 8 games actually, because they're 5-3. So they must have had their bye. So those 8 games, they're 46 points. So they're turning them into, what would that be? Like an extra 6 points. 6 points a game. So basically they're turning those all of those turnovers that they do wind up getting, into 46 extra. So basically about a touchdown a game they're getting, averaging off of those turnovers. So, and once again, in the very competitive NFL that we have, 6 points, it's a 1-score game right there. So, protecting the ball will be paramount tomorrow for the Giants. Giants have turned the ball over 9 times on the season, which ranks 13th in the league, which is very good. But you figure if you take that one game out, of course you can. But if you took that one game out and there's 8 other games, they've only turned the ball over 4 times. That's really good. Let's see. Outside of the 5 turnover game in New Orleans, the Giants have turned the ball over just once in the 5 other games since JAXSON DART took over as quarterback. So they turned the ball over just 1 time in 5 other games. So he's, obviously he's 6 games, right? He had the 1 5 turnover, but in the other 5 games, they've turned the ball over 1 time. Very, very impressive. As I said, that will be huge, tomorrow for the Giants. And if the Bears win, you make them earn it, right? Make them go down the field and score a touchdown, right? Don't give them a short field. No pick 6, no strip sack where they pick it up running back for a touchdown. No, obviously no block punts. Don't let them run a kickoff. Nothing like it. Make them earn the points. And if they do it that, you tip your cap. It's just the whole coaching staff is just, except for maybe one guy. I mean, by the end of the season, a lot of them, not all, maybe not all, but a lot of them, they're just, they're dead men walking. They're just time, It's just a matter of time for many of them. Or bye-bye. So.